Greetings, seekers of wisdom. I'm Dr. Surendra, and before we step into today's uplifting tale, I have a gentle request. Our ancient traditions remind us that a story left unheard or a lesson unfinished dims the light it could bring. So, I invite you to stay with me until the end to let this journey unfold fully in your heart. If these timeless teachings stir your spirit, and you feel a connection to the eternal truths of our heritage, please show your support, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share your reverence by commenting Om Namah Shivaya. Now, let's dive into today's enlightening story without delay. Story. In a bustling town cradled by a vast forest, there lived a merchant named Kiran. His days were filled with the clatter of coins, the shuffle of goods, and the hum of trade. Kiran was skilled at his craft. His stalls brimmed with silks, spices, and trinkets, and his wealth grew with every season. Yet, beneath his success, a shadow lingered. At night, when the market quieted and the lanterns dimmed, he'd sit alone, counting his earnings, feeling an ache he couldn't name. His riches piled high, but his heart felt hollow. One morning, as Kiran arranged his wares, a stranger passed through the town. She was an old woman, her face lined with years, her eyes sharp and clear. She carried no goods, only a staff and a small cloth pouch. The townsfolk called her Sarita, a wanderer who spoke in riddles and rarely stayed long. Kiran watched her pause by the well, drawing water with a calm that unsettled him. Curious, he approached. "You carry nothing," he said. "What do you trade in?" Sarita smiled faintly. "I trade in what can't be sold," she replied. "Come with me, if you dare to find it." Kiran hesitated. His stalls couldn't wait, but the ache in his chest pulled him forward. He left his goods with a trusted friend and followed Sarita out of the town into the forest. They walked for hours, the path twisting through dense trees and over mossy stones. The air grew thick with the scent of earth, and Kiran's fine robes snagged on branches. "Where are we going?" he asked, his voice tight with impatience. Sarita pointed ahead to a clearing where a great banyan tree stood, its roots sprawling like a living maze. "There," she said, "beneath its shade, you'll see." At the banyan, Sarita sat and pulled a scroll from her pouch. "This is from the Isha Upanishad," she said, unrolling it. "Listen, all this is full. All that is full. From fullness, fullness comes. It's yours to understand, Kiran. Stay here 3 days. Watch. Think." She handed him the scroll and left without another word, her staff tapping the ground as she vanished into the trees. Kiran sat beneath the banyan, the scroll in his lap, feeling foolish. The words made no sense. Fullness from fullness? He was used to ledgers, to things he could measure. But as the sun climbed high, he watched the tree, its leaves rustling, its roots stretching deep. Birds nested in its branches, ants marched along its trunk, and a squirrel darted past with a nut. Life pulsed around him, unhurried, unbound by trade. He read again, "All this is full." The forest wasn't grasping or hoarding, it simply was. A strange thought stirred. Maybe fullness wasn't about more coins, but something else. The first night, Kiran slept poorly, restless on the hard ground. He dreamed of his stalls, his gold slipping through his fingers. He woke to the dawn, the scroll beside him, and read another line, "Take what is given and do not covet." Back home, he'd haggled for every penny, envied richer merchants, chased what wasn't his. Here, under the banyan, the birds didn't fight for space. The tree didn't demand the soil's wealth. They took what came, and it was enough. Kiran's hands unclenched, and he breathed deeper, the ache easing slightly. On the second day, a storm rolled in. Rain pounded the leaves, soaking Kiran's robes. He huddled under the tree, shivering, but watched as the water fed the roots, the soil, the life around him. The scroll's words returned. From fullness, fullness comes. The rain didn't diminish the forest. It nourished it. Kiran thought of his own life, always taking, rarely giving. He'd built walls of wealth, but what had he shared? The storm passed, and in its wake, he felt lighter, as if the rain had washed away more than mud. By the third day, Kiran sat in stillness, the scroll worn from his touch. He watched a child from a nearby village play beneath the tree, laughing as she chased a butterfly. He saw fullness in her joy, in the banyan's shade, in the air he breathed. All this is full, he whispered. It wasn't about having more, it was seeing what already was. When Sarita returned, she found him smiling faintly. "What did you find?" she asked. Kiran paused. "Enough," he said. "Not in my stalls, but here." Sarita nodded. "That's the start," she said. "Take it back with you." Kiran returned to the town, his steps steady, his eyes clear. He reopened his stalls, but something had shifted. He gave extra grain to a struggling family, shared a smile with a rival merchant, worked without the old hunger. The ache was gone, not because he'd gained, but because he'd let go. Years later, when his hair grayed and his hands slowed, he'd sit by the well, telling stories of the banyan to anyone who would listen. "It's all full," he'd say, "if you know how to see it." And the town, like the forest, carried on, rich in ways no coin could measure. Life lessons from the story. Kiran's journey to the banyan tree, guided by the Isha Upanishad, isn't just a merchant's tale. It's a map for anyone feeling the weight of wanting more. I'm Dr. Surendra, and I've been diving into these ancient words to share what they hold for us. The scroll Sarita gave Kiran carries truths that cut through the noise of his world and ours, offering lessons we can hold close if we listen. Let's walk through what his story reveals, piece by piece, and see what it leaves us with. The first whisper is discontent, that hollow ache Kiran carried. He had wealth, success, a bustling life, yet something gnawed at him. The Isha Upanishad doesn't shy from that feeling. It meets it head-on. Kiran's restlessness wasn't failure. It was a call. Life can look perfect on the outside, full stalls, busy days, but still feel empty within. The lesson here is to heed that call, to notice when the heart says, "There's more." It's not weakness, it's the seed of something deeper, pushing us to look beyond what we can touch. Then there's the leaving, Kiran stepping away from his stalls, following Sarita into the unknown. The Isha Upanishad asks us to loosen our grip, to trust there's value beyond what we cling to. Kiran didn't abandon his life, he paused it, curious enough to seek. That's courage, not loud or dramatic, but quiet, steady. The lesson is willingness, daring to step off the treadmill, even for a moment, to chase what can't be bought. It's the choice to wander, knowing the path might not be clear. Under the banyan, Kiran faced fullness. All this is full. The Isha Upanishad paints a world alive with completeness, not lack. Kiran saw it in the tree, the birds, the ants, a dance of life that didn't need his coins. The lesson is abundance. Not the kind we stack or count, but the kind that's already here. He'd spent years chasing more, blind to what surrounded him. The Upanishad flips the script. Stop grasping, start seeing. Fullness isn't out there. It's in the roots, the shade, the breath we take. The rain on the second day brought another gift. From fullness, fullness comes. Kiran watched the storm feed the forest, not drain it. The Isha Upanishad teaches flow, giving and taking in balance, not hoarding or fighting. Kiran's old life was about piling up, guarding his share. Here, he saw richness multiply when shared. The water didn't shrink the tree, it grew it. The lesson is generosity, not just with things, but with spirit. What we release doesn't leave us empty. It opens space for more. That line, "Take what is given and do not covet," hit Kiran hard. He'd envied, bargained, measured himself against others. Beneath the banyan, he saw the birds take their share. No more, no less, and thrive. The Isha Upanishad offers contentment, a radical peace with what comes. The lesson is enoughness, not settling for less, but trusting what's here, letting go of the itch to compare. Kiran's wealth hadn't calmed that itch, the forest did. The child playing by the tree sealed it. Joy in the simple, the now. The Isha Upanishad whispers presence. Fullness isn't tomorrow's promise, but today's reality. Kiran saw it in her laughter, free of want. The lesson is awareness, tuning into the moment, not the chase. He'd lived for the next sale, the next gain. Here, he found life in what was already unfolding. It's a shift from striving to being, from building to breathing. When Kiran returned, he didn't preach, he lived it. The Isha Upanishad isn't for hiding away, it's for carrying back. He traded again, but with lighter hands, a fuller heart. The lesson is integration. Wisdom isn't separate from daily life. It shapes it. Kiran gave, smiled, worked, all with that banyan stillness inside. Truth doesn't demand a new life, it renews the one we have. Finally, his stories by the well, sharing what he'd found, echo the Isha Upanishad's ripple. Truth grows when passed on, not hoarded. Kiran didn't keep the scroll's words for himself, he let them spread. The lesson is legacy, not in wealth, but in understanding. He left the town richer, not with goods, but with a way to see. Fullness isn't ours alone, it's for all who listen. Modern applications. Kiran's trip to the banyan tree, rooted in the Isha Upanishad, isn't stuck in some old town. It's a story for us, right here in 2025. I'm Dr. Surendra, and I'm here to bring these ancient insights into our lives today. Kiran's scroll cuts through our rush, our screens, our endless to-dos, offering ways to life fuller, lighter, now. Let's take what he found and weave it into our world, moment by moment, seeing how it fits. That ache Kiran felt, we know it. Maybe it's late at night, scrolling X, liking posts, but feeling empty. Or it's the job, the paycheck, the likes piling up, yet something's off. The Isha Upanishad says, don't ignore it. Next time that hits, step away. Not forever, just 5 minutes. Shut the phone, sit by window, ask, what's missing? It's not about ditching life. It's about hearing that quiet call, like Kiran did. Start small. Notice it. Let it stir. Leaving the stalls, Kiran's leap fits our packed days. We're buried in emails, meetings, notifications. What if we paused? Not quitting, but carving space. Say you're swamped, set the phone down, walk outside, look at the sky. The Isha Upanishad says fullness waits beyond the grind. Try it. 1 hour this week, no screens, just you and what's here. Kiran followed Sarita. You can follow that itch. It's not escape, it's a reset. All this is full. Kiran saw it under the banyan, and it's here too. Rush hour, crowded stores, kids yelling. It doesn't feel full, it feels draining. But shift the lens. You're on the bus, people all around. Each one's got a story, a spark like you. At home, the mess, the noise, it's life. Pulsing. Next time you're stuck waiting, look up. See the tree outside, the clouds, the motion. It's not lack, it's plenty if you tune in. The Isha Upanishad says it's already here. We just miss it. The rain's lesson from fullness, fullness comes, works in our give and take world. We hoard time, energy, stuff, scared to lose. Flip it. Share something small. Help a coworker. Text a friend. Give a stranger a nod. Kiran saw the forest thrive on flow. We can too. At work, don't just take credit, pass it on. At home, don't just demand, offer. It's not losing, it's growing. Try it today. One kind act, no strings. Watch what comes back. Take what is given. And do not covet. Kiran's old trap is ours. We scroll, see perfect lives, better jobs, shinier things. It stings. Next time that envy creeps in, pause. Look at what's yours. Coffee in your cup, a roof overhead, a breath in your lungs. The Isha Upanishad says that's enough. Say it out loud. This is mine and it's good. Kiran stopped chasing. We can too. Cut the comparison. It's a thief. The child's laughter, presence, is gold in 2025. We are always planning, worrying, scrolling past now. Slow down. Eating lunch? Taste it. Don't rush. Walking? Feel the ground, not the clock. Kiran found fullness in the moment. We can too. Set a timer. 5 minutes today. Just be. No phone, no list. The Isha Upanishad says it's full right here. Don't wait for tomorrow. Back in town, Kiran lived it. Quietly. Naturally. You can too. Stuck in line? Smile. Don't fume. Kids loud? Join them. Don't snap. The Isha Upanishad isn't for monks. It's for us in the thick of it. Next argument. Next stress. Breathe. See the fullness. Act from there. Kiran traded with a new heart. You can scroll, work, live with one too. It's not big, just steady. His stories by the well, sharing, fit our connected age. Found a spark here? Pass it on. Tweet it. Tell a friend. Write it down. Kiran didn't hoard the bunyan's truth. We don't need to either. It grows when it spreads. So here's the call. Take one piece, presence, giving, seeing fullness, and live it this week. Then come back. Drop it in the comments. Say how it felt. Subscribe if you're in. We've got more stories, more wisdom coming. I'm Dr. Surendra, and ancient wisdom, modern life is ours to share. Kiran found fullness under a tree. Where will you find yours? Closing. And so, we've reached the end of Kiran's tale, a journey lit by the Isha Upanishad's timeless glow. I'm Dr. Surendra, grateful you stayed with me to let this story bloom fully. Our traditions teach us that wisdom shared and received with an open heart brings blessings to all. If this tale touched you and you honor the eternal path of truth and light, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave Om Namah Shivaya in the comments to share your spirit. Until next time, may you walk in fullness and peace.